taught about everybody's taught the Starling equation, right? Which is like, you know, oncotic pressure times something plus hydrostatic pressure equals movement of a fluid across a semi-permeable membrane. They teach that. It's like dogma in medical school, right? What they don't teach you is that it's never been shown to be like proven in actual biologic systems. That is true when you have a beakers with a semi-permeable membrane between the beakers, right? So it doesn't predict what happens in real life. So the idea that if somebody has a low protein or low albumin, right, that we should replace it, it doesn't work, right? There's lots of studies, and actually just did a review in Chest about the indications for albumin, and they found that the only evidence that albumin helps is in patients to prevent hepatorenal syndrome, in patients after large volume parasitosis, but even that, the evidence quality is low. In sepsis, volume resuscitation, dialysis patients, like there's no evidence that it's beneficial. Now here's the reason why. The one thing, I don't know if they tell you, they taught you in medical school something about the endothelial glycocalyx. Through the endothelial glycocalyx? Right, so the endothelial glycocalyx is a glycoprotein layer that lines the inside of arteries, okay, and veins. It's inside of vessels, okay, and it creates an electrostatic, electrochemical charge or force that maintains protein and fluid inside the vessel. That's what primarily keeps water and protein in. Right, and we know, like, it's clear that low albumin doesn't cause edema by itself. And there's two situations we know this from. One is if you ever see patients, you'll see patients with like metastatic cancer, with low albumin, malnutrition, and they're not edematous. Same, you see patients with advanced AIDS, very low albumin, malnourished, they don't get edematous. Okay, and when we see that giving albumin to people doesn't help, if low albumin caused edema, right, it should be like low potassium, right? You replace the potassium, everything gets better. But if you replace the albumin, it doesn't do anything. And the reason is because of the endothelial glycocalyx. That you put the albumin in and it leaks out, just like everything else. Okay? So albumin is not really helpful. And that's the problem. It's expensive. There's some risk. But, so the only really indications other than the cirrhosis are maybe you can give it in septic shock if you've been giving a lot of crystalloid and you're concerned about the total volume. And that's like a iffy recommendation. There was a study called the Albios trial, which did albumin for septic shock, and there's no benefit. They found a mortality benefit, but it was like post hoc analysis, and it was kind of sketchy. So it's not clear that it's beneficial. So I'm very hesitant to give albumin. Now, most people think, a lot of times you'll see nephrologists give albumin with Lasix. Okay, and people don't understand how that works. Most people think that works because, you increase the oncotic pressure, you pull fluid into the arteries, and then it delivers to the kidneys and improves diuresis. That's not why they give albumin with Lasix. The reason they give albumin with Lasix is because Lasix is protein bound, right? And for the transient period of time where you have extra, protein before it leaks out, you actually get better, theoretically, drug delivery to the kidneys, but that also is not a proven thing. So you kind of have to forget everything you ever learned. And anybody ever tries to tell you that, the edema is from low albumin or we need to replace the albumin, it's not true. It's not true. And tell them, have you heard about the endothelial glycocalyx? And if they say no, be worried. Okay.